the Indiana Fever may have made the worst error in WNBA history, one that might cost millions. Behind the scenes, there is a much more explosive situation that is being kept quiet. Imagine this. Your franchise has landed a generational rookie. She sells out arenas that have been empty for years, breaks ratings records, and makes your team relevant again. So, what is the response? You repeatedly twisted her, but no one seemed to question why. Let's start with the money, which will blow your head. Caitlin Clark is poised to earn $11 million this year. Her WNBA salary of $78,000 accounts for less than 1% of her total earnings. She earns more from a single Instagram post than she does in a month of Fever. Nike paid $28 million over 8 years to sign her. Gatorade's all in. State Farm treats her as royalty. Wilson even gave her his famous basketball phrase. The Fever struggles to keep her healthy for more than 3 games in a row, despite having open wallets from every manufacturer. In terms of health, isn't it strange? Caitlin never missed a game during college. For 4 years at Iowa, she played through pain and consistently dominated. In the professionals, she has been sidelined due to unexplained groin issues on multiple occasions. The impact is undeniable, whether due to bad luck or a larger issue. During a 6-game period, she shot only 4 for 12 and 14% from 3, falling below of her overall average. However, there's one aspect that is often overlooked. Despite the dip, she still averages over 9 assists each game. She is dragging the team forward with one arm tied behind her back. The reward? Extra bench time. In addition to the on-court drama, the off-court situation became considerably darker. A 55-year-old stalker was sentenced to prison for pestering Caitlin, sending hundreds of frightening texts, and even going to Indianapolis under the impression they were in a relationship. She had to adjust her public appearance to feel safer. However, this is when things go insane. He understood her value better than the Fever's management. During Caitlin's performance, ticket prices increased significantly. $200 in the secondary market. When she leaves, they drop by 40% overnight. That is not a dip. That is a financial freefall. Ticket prices for the All-Star game at her home arena dropped from $121 to $72 after she declared she couldn't play. Indiana University's front office is ignoring the fact that real money is leaving the institution. The situation continues to worsen. Stephanie White, the coach, was sent in to remedy things. Caitlin appears to be focused on humbling herself rather than expressing her full potential. Last week's viral moment summed it up. During a timeout, Caitlin sat in the coach's chair and was ordered out by White in front of the entire team. The message was really obvious. Know your place, novice. Don't become too comfy. We manage this team, not you. White emphasizes the importance of long-term health and the overall picture. Translation: we are concerned about your growing size. Why else would you manage the minutes of a 23-year-old in top condition? Why would you take her out of games when she becomes hot? Why compel her to change the successful style of play that draws crowds and sells jerseys? This feels like a continual reminder. You may be the celebrity, but others have the power. But here's the twist. Caitlin is quietly pursuing a larger goal while Indiana engages in power struggles. A self-sufficient empire. She is not only popular but also the face of women's basketball. With almost 1.2 million votes, she was elected as the league's all-star captain, surpassing everybody else. Her endorsements outnumber full team salaries. She has the option to buy and sell half of the WNBA at any time. However, the Fever acts as if allowing her ride the bench is a favor. I have insider information, and here's where things get wild. Caitlin is set to become a free agent in 2027, and other teams are already clearing cap space. The New York Liberty is offering her a lucrative contract and several marketing opportunities. Las Vegas excels. The casino would likely be renamed in her honor. International squads are negotiating 2 7-figure deals in Europe. China is making incredible incentives, including team ownership opportunities. Ice Cube previously offered her $5 million as part of the Big Three. She has more alternatives than a Vegas buffet. And the Fever is over here, acting as if she should be grateful for table scraps. A common joke within the league. Indiana transitioned from economy airlines that require water fees to luxury planes overnight, all because of a single player. Instead of protecting her, they engage in power struggles reminiscent of reality television. Imagine winning the lotto and then whining about taxes. Want to know how awful things have gotten? Players who go 2 for 14 are commended for maintaining their confidence, while Caitlyn receives criticism for taking one disputed 3. Veterans who couldn't hit the water from the beach now have a permanent green light. Despite being the best shooter in club history, he is advised to remain patient. Referees are shaking their heads at the blatant double standard. Here's a stat that should make every fan angry. WNBA players receive only 9% of league earnings. Compare that to NBA players, who receive 50%. Caitlyn increases item sales by 500% and attendance by 40%. What is the response? They are doing everything to push her away. The funniest aspect is that Fever management believes they have power in this situation. They believe Caitlyn prioritizes others' needs over her own. Those who believe she needs them more than they need her are mistaken. Caitlyn Clark is only 23 years old and has a net worth of around $5 million. Her endorsements will safeguard her career even after she retires from sports. She has a devoted fan base who would follow her to Antarctica if she established a Penguin basketball league. Here's a shocking statistic for all executives in Indianapolis. When asked if they would continue to support the Fever if Caitlyn departed, 86% replied no. That is not just loyalty. That is obsession. That is not a fan base. This is a roaming army. These individuals did not purchase Fever jerseys for the name on the front. They purchased these for the name on the back. Consider the playoffs in Connecticut to understand the level of pressure she is under. Jonah Carrington claimed to have inadvertently hit Caitlyn in the eye. When asked about it, Carrington became defensive and the Suns' leadership attempted to frighten the media into abandoning the story. Caitlyn has intense envy every night. Unfortunately, her squad does not support her. The data is unambiguously accurate. Caitlyn's presence on the court attracts millions of viewers to games. Without her, they struggle to achieve 200,000. ESPN's WNBA coverage revolves around her, and her absence from the court results in a 70% drop in social media engagement. She serves as the league's marketing department in addition to being a player. Without her, the buzz stops immediately. The Fever is becoming more severe. Caitlyn's close friends report that she is already considering leaving Indianapolis. The team's injuries, coaching mistakes, and lack of management support are all contributing to their struggles. In college, she was an Iron Woman who never missed a game. However, she has now become the league's most frail superstar. Everyone is beginning to question the situation. Surprisingly, a Fever could resolve the issue tomorrow. Fire anyone who doesn't comprehend the situation. Bring in coaches who will allow Caitlyn be herself. Build a team around her, rather than forcing her to use an antiquated system. Give her control of the franchise and reap the profits. However, in Indianapolis, ego takes precedence above economic considerations. Numbers tell the narrative. Cities that attract generations of brilliance can either create dynasties or become cautionary tales. Currently, the Fever are heading towards the second path. They're about to be the squad that had Caitlyn Clark but lost her. The franchise that failed to retain the most prominent female basketball player in history. I am hearing whispers. Remember, you heard it here first. Caitlyn's camp is already considering options. They are laying the groundwork, testing international waters, and creating relationships to ensure a positive landing point for her in the future, not just tomorrow or next season. The irony is almost poetry. For years, the Indiana Fever played in front of empty seats, yearning for attention. Then, unexpectedly, Caitlyn Clark falls into their lap. A gift from the basketball gods. A once-in-a-generation talent had the potential to transform everything. Within 2 years, Caitlyn Clark will not be donning a Fever jersey. She aspires to play in New York, Vegas, or perhaps abroad, earning more than Indiana and playing for supportive fans. If this happens, basketball will lose its relevance and become a footnote in history with empty venues. Here's the sad part. This disaster was entirely preventable. All they had to do was avoid screwing it up. Just like Caitlyn be awesome. Cash the checks. Develop the franchise around her. Instead, they've created a masterclass on how to squander a valuable chance. Business schools will continue to examine this type of collapse for decades. The Fever will discover the consequences of treating a $100 million athlete as if she were on minimal wage. Caitlin Clark doesn't need Indiana Fever, so when the circus leaves town and takes away all the ticket buyers, they'll know what they've lost. She never did. For a little while, they needed her. Instead of accepting it, they shoved her out the door. Do you think this is the biggest error in WNBA history? Hit like. Want to know where Caitlyn will go next? Subscribe. The narrative is just getting started. Leave a comment. Where should Caitlyn go once she escapes Indianapolis?